So how can you go about building yourself a program, a workout program, a training program to help you reach the goals you want to reach? So this can include anything, weight training, calisthenics, gymnastic rings, tumbling, mobility training, locomotion, etc., etc. So I'm essentially going to talk you through some of the points of how to build your own program, what you want to be doing, and just how to build an effective program to reach the goals you want to reach and to be where you want to be. Okay, so as you can see, finally got my office set up. Reason for making these sit-down videos, talking to you like this. So obviously, the point of training is to get to a certain goal. You could enjoy the training, but essentially you have goals you want to reach. Okay, so I've got something in my eye. I think it's gone now. So for example, locomotion is something I enjoy. However, I want to build more mobility with my internal shoulder rotation, okay? For like bridges and QDRs, etc., etc. That is a goal I want to work towards. So by following a program, a training schedule, you can better reach these goals, and you can optimize your time, you can optimize your training, and you can stick to it. It helps you stick to it, okay? So I'm going to talk you through quite a few different aspects. The first aspect of kind of building a plan I want to talk you through is SMART, okay? SMART goals. So you might have heard of these before. SMART essentially means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and kind of time-based. Okay, so these are some of the basic principles we look at as a personal trainer when building a client a program. So S, is it specific? Is this training program specific to the things you want to achieve? Okay, so if I'm looking to build more strength and mobility or my internal shoulder rotation, then I don't know, doing lat pull downs probably ain't going to do much for me, or doing pull-ups. What would be better would be what they called just like external shoulder rotations with weight, that help build the mobility for the internal as well as building a sustainable mobility, etc., etc. So you want to make sure it is specific to you, what you want to achieve. Measurable, how are you going to measure it? To measure mobility, perhaps in internal shoulder rotation, I can keep my arm at like 90 degrees, just like this, my body on straight, and I can measure the angle that I can perhaps push in my shoulder, or maybe I can measure it by pulling a resistance band and seeing the distance I can do that. But you want to make sure it's measurable. If you want to lose weight, how much do you want to lose? How are you going to measure that? You're going to step on a scale. You're going to use a tape measure around different parts of your body. If you're looking to gain mass, are you going to do it with a scale? If you want to gain mass on your arms, are you going to do that with a tape measure again, or distance you jump? Tape measure the floor, I guess. Make sure it's measurable. Measure where you are, measure where you want to be, and so therefore you can break that down in between. Is it achievable? Is this goal achievable and realistic? If you say, I want to do a standing jump, 15 foot, that's not achievable and it's not realistic, because that would be a brand new world record. So make sure it's realistic and achievable for you. Where are you now? And what's a realistic step in 8 weeks' time for you to achieve, If I want to go ahead and jump, my standing jump might be 10.5 foot, which I think it is. If I want to jump 11 foot in 8 weeks, is that doable? It's fairly doable. If I start doing explosive training, etc., refine my technique, I might be able to reach that, realistic and achievable. Make sure it's those two. And of course, is it time-based? What time frame are you doing this in? It's no point in saying, okay, this is my measurable goal. Yes, it's realistic. Yes, I can achieve it. These are the measurements I'm going to do. But I have no time scale. How are you best gonna, that's not optimized. So make sure you have these things. SMART goals are very, very important. Now, if we're talking about a session breakdown for movement training, okay, what I tend to do is I warm up, I do mobility training, I do my resistance training, which will be calisthenics or weights, and then I'll do a little bit of massage and stuff like that. If I'm recovering from an injury or trying to do a specific kind of goal, I'll do stability training afterwards. But that is essentially my kind of session breakdown. So for the warm-up, very simply, I'll do some barefoot running on a treadmill if I'm in a gym. I'll hop on a rower, great full body kind of, warm-up, get the blood pumping. I'll do the tennis ball games that I've demonstrated in my previous video. And I'll just kind of do stuff like that, just light exercises that I can build up in intensity just to get me warm, get me more mobile, make sure that tendonitis don't creep in my knee again, just stuff like that. That can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously, if you're warming up to do anything intense, you want to warm up a bit longer. If you're doing heavy lifts, you want to warm up for the lifts. But as a general exercise for movement practice, 5 to 10 minutes of a light movement-based coordination kind of exercise is a great way to warm up, okay? So we've done that. Now I move on to the mobility training. So for this, I'll do locomotion, okay, or some specific kind of joint-specific mobility. So this will be, for example, I'll kind of go down and do the sumo shuffles. I'll do some monkey walks there and back. I'll do some lizard walks. Just make sure I'm going in a deep range of motion to kind of target all of those muscles and joint groups to really warm up and make sure my body's mobile and kind of increasing mobility as I go. And I enjoy it too. So we have warm up, we have the mobility training. Now, I'll go on to some resistance exercise now. So this is specific to the goal I want to do. So if I'm looking to increase the range of motion for my handstand push-up without a wall. So just a handstand and a push-up, something I've been working on for a little bit now. So I'll start doing, I'll do some push-ups to warm up, some regular push-ups, make sure my wrists are warm. I'll do some pike push-ups and then I'll elevate my pike push-ups doing them on stairs. So my feet will be on the top of the stairs, 3 steps up. My hands will be on the bottom, which allows me to get a deep range of motion. So my nose will touch the floor, hands on the stairs. And I'll do that for sets of reps. And then I'll do some assistance exercises. So I'll do some, ab exercises, make sure my core has some good stability strength there. You can obviously do some tricep extension exercises for the handstand push-up specifically. And you'll kind of do that, and obviously you'll hit your legs how you want to hit your legs. But the one thing to really keep in mind with resistance exercises that muscles simply contract. There are different levels and different techniques to make the muscles contract. Endurance exercise is, of course, going to be a different kind of contraction, and therefore it's going to use a different energy source than a squat, for example, on your legs. But at the end of the day, there's no point in... I've had friends of mine who have literally done, they're trying to build some biceps. So they do pull-ups, they do bicep curls for 8 to 12 reps, and then they bang out bicep curls for about 30 reps. And I say to them, why are you doing that? And they say, it's to tone the muscles. And while a mixed rep range can be beneficial, especially for a generalized practice, toning is very simply low body fat with muscle definition. So the best way to tone is to lose body weight through exercise and diet, and to gain muscle or maintain your muscle. So doing 30 reps isn't going to optimize it. 8 to 12 reps is going to be best for toning if you're losing weight at the same time. So it's very important to make sure you know what you're doing and you're not doing some bro science kind of stuff. So very simply, the reason why you might mix pike push-ups with tricep extensions would be to get better hypertrophy in the triceps, very simply, okay? So you're doing a compound exercise with the pike push-ups, and you go, okay, my triceps are the weak point. So let me isolate them and really get some more hypertrophy, really tire them out and use them. So that's the point of it. But there's no point in doing, for example, pike push-ups and then moving on to a military press. If it's using the same muscle groups, and you can do it for the same kind of rep range. So just keep that in mind, do a little bit of research on it yourself, but that's kind of important there. So I will do that, okay? So that's my resistance exercise. I'll do maybe some split squats, some deadlifts, some et cetera, right? So I've done my resistance exercise. Now, if I'm trying to do some specific joint work, after I've done this, I'll do some assisted mobility or some weighted mobility. So for example, if I'm trying to build up the mobility in inwards shoulder rotation, then like I said before, I'll do some assisted kind of weight. So I can do a Cuban rotation, where you kind of do an external shoulder rotation with a weight, with a dumbbell. So I'll do that, and I'll kind of, get a little bit of a stretch with it in a nice kind of range of motion, keep it safe. And I'll use the weight to assist my mobility, assist the range of motion, to take it a little bit out of my comfort zone and bring it back in. And so I'll do that. I have a video on this explaining this idea with building iron ankles. If you want to watch that video, you can go find that on my channel. So yeah, I'll do some of that. And if I'm doing if I need stability work, so for example, if I'm doing parkour and I've noticed I haven't trained in a while, my stability in my ankles and knees aren't the best, then perhaps I'll do some kettlebell work just to increase the mobility and kind of the stability in my ankles and my knees. Use a wobble board perhaps. So that's specific more so to sport and performance. But if I'm not looking to do any of that, after I've done my resistance exercises, I very simply take a seat, get out my massage roller, and just roll out all of my legs, roll out my upper body, and just make sure that I'm kind of massaging it. It's great for keeping mobility through DOMS, delayed muscle onset soreness, the soreness after working out. And it's great just for a faster recovery, so I'll make sure I do that stuff. But that is essentially how you can build a solid training plan for movement practice, for a generalized practice, or simply just for normal exercise and working out. I would usually say it would take me maybe, depending on how much I'm doing, if I'm doing squats and deadlifts with gymnastic ring muscle ups in the same day with stability exercises, then it might take me towards 2 hours. If I'm doing a little bit less, then it will just take me an hour, hour and a half. And I'll do this maybe 2-3 days a week. I'll do parkour 1 day a week, and I'll just do movement throughout the week as kind of like a supplement, kind of fun hobby type thing. But yeah, take some ideas from that, take a bit of guidance if you can. I'm sharing what kind of I do and what I know. Let me know if you want to add anything to that, include anything. Obviously, it's very specific to your training, but of course, this is a kind of movement-based channel, so this is a really great way to train if you are doing that movement training, that mobility training. So yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, until next time, peace.